Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Vinny the Axe. Today I want to give you an update on my Nash S-63 Strat style guitar. So I normally don't keep guitars very long. I buy, sell, trade all the time. And I've owned probably about 10 Nashes at least, Tellys and Strats. And I just was doing this video to kind of give people a little bit of some insight into these guitars because I see some stuff on the forums where people are like, oh, it's a parts caster. It's really too much money for a parts caster. And I kind of look at that like and go, I don't know what these people are talking about. And I mean that in a way of when Fender makes guitars, they make necks and bodies and they bolt them together. They're not making a specific neck for a specific body and hand fitting it. They're CNC machined and then they're put together. Same thing with Nash. They're a neck and body and they're put together. Now, from what I understand, and I don't know if it's still true, but they used to have bodies and necks made for them, but they would do all the finish work. So they would do the nut, the fret work, they would do the electronics, paint the bodies, put them all together, get them set up. So I don't know why people are so scared about that. I just think it's too many people that are cork sniffing on the internet, writing down garbage, especially some of them who will make judgments on a guitar when they've never even played one. So I can tell you, owning probably 400 plus guitars, that every Nash that I've owned all played really good and all sounded really good. And I've never had any factory defects at all with any of them. Now, where the Nash falls short, in my opinion, is I don't think their paint is up to the same level as Fender Custom Shop. And I'm not talking about the relic. I'm just talking about the paint quality itself. It has a different feel to it, in my opinion. If I had to choose one or the other, I would always choose the Fender Custom Shop paint jobs over this. But not to say that this is inferior. It's just something, I don't know, just the way it feels, or sometimes the finish and how it looks, or maybe it's the way they do their clear. I'm not really sure. But, you know, and the relic jobs, too, sometimes can be a bit overboard. Now, I don't mind relics, so some people absolutely hate them, and if you hate relics, this is probably not up your street anyway. You can contact Nash, and I'm sure that you can get one made, not relic at all, but normally when you see them, they are aged in some way, shape, or form. And listen, I've seen Fender Custom Shop stuff that looks like it's been hit by a bus and dragged down the block for 6 miles, too, so it's not to say that they're going over the top with the relics. Just sometimes I think the lighter relic ones from Fender are a little bit more convincing. But that being said, I will say I've never had to change pickups out on a Nash. Like, they all sound good. Every Nash I've had lullers in it, and every one of those guitars sounded fantastic and didn't leave me wanting to change the pickups or mess with the electronics, ever. I can't say that about the Fender Custom Shop stuff. So now here's where we get into price. You know, custom shops from Fender are going through the roof and everything's going up in price. I get it. But you can get into one of these for half the price of a Fender Custom Shop. And if you get into the used market, you might be able to get these under $2,000 used. So it might be something to look at if you want a guitar that sounds killer and has some mojo, and you're in the ballpark of like an American Fender standard, mainstream build, not a custom shop build, because those are getting outrageously priced as well. I'm going to say this. You probably have a better likelihood of getting a guitar that's got that mojo, that's got that something special out of the Nashes versus you grabbing a Fender off-the-shelf standard American guitar. And also the weight. These are a lot lighter. This is an Ash. It's about 7 pounds and change, and it's a great playing guitar. It's not heavy, and it just sounds fantastic. So, my opinion is if you really want to get into a Fender Custom Shop, but you don't want to spend the money, you don't have the money, and you're going, oh man, maybe I'll just go get a standard Fender Deluxe or whatever, I guarantee you that you're probably going to like this a lot better sound-wise. Looks-wise, maybe not so much, but you're talking, usually those standard Fenders have a heavy poly coat on them and usually adds to the weight. Over at Nash, they're using this nitrocellulose lacquer stuff, so it's a lot lighter, just like the Fender Custom Shop stuff. So, and I've worked with nitrocellulose lacquer before. I painted the body. I did a multi-part episode on the channel, and I will never paint a guitar body again with nitro. It is a real pain in the ass, I got to tell you, and it takes forever for it to. From what I understand, it doesn't really ever cure, but it dries. It's kind of like it's just a pain. And if I had to do it all over again, if I was going to build a guitar, I would just have the guitar painted, you know, professionally, and then, you know, or maybe stain it myself, but I'm never going to paint again. What a headache. But I'll tell you what, the nitro they use on here seems to be pretty good. Like I said, I think the paint has got a different type of sheen to it, so it could be how they do their clear, or maybe it's the finishing at the end. Maybe they do something with the finishing and satinize it a little bit, and maybe that's why I think it looks a little different than the Fender Custom Shop stuff. So anyway, they come in all different colors. This one's in British Racing Green. It has like an anodized picker on it that's gold and looks pretty worn to go with the rest of the guitar. But I have to say, the guitar plays fantastic. It's got really good resonance, huge block in it, and I'm quite pleased with it still. So that's got to say something for those of you who come back and watch the channel all the time. 4 months and I still got this guy. And to be honest with you, and you know, totally honest, I did have it up for sale a couple of times going, oh, I want to get something else. Let me put this up for sale. And then I'm like, I would strum on this thing, go, what am I doing? This thing plays great. I'm not getting rid of this guy. So she's not for sale anymore. But anyway, if you aren't really into one of these things, I would say don't worry about it. Don't listen to what a lot of people say on the forums that they're parts casters or whatever craziness they're talking about. I think it's money well spent, and you'll have a guitar that you probably can keep for the rest of your life and just play the hell out of. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm not endorsed by them. They don't sponsor any of this stuff. I don't even know anybody over there. So just, like I said, my 2 cents of getting yourself the chances of getting a really good guitar, because for those of you who are really into guitars, you know that you can go into a guitar shop, maybe play 20 of the same model, same color, and one will be better than the other 19. Just the way it is. I've had very good luck with these. I've never had a bad one. They've all sounded good. They all had good resonance, and they all have been mostly on the lighter side. I had one HSS in a lavender color that was like a little over 8 pounds, but the other ones that I've had have all been on the lighter side, so take that for what it's worth. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Vinny the Axe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I try to answer every question that comes in, and take it easy.